to break you down some more. But I will tell you this, and all of the breaking down, it set me up to be built up. Because mentally, I wanted God's best. See, I had that word in me.
Come on.
Hello.
The word.
The word works. The word. That means when God sent a word telling me his promise that he got for me, I know he's a keeper. He kept me. 2 divorces later. Both of my parents only been married one time. I got 2 divorces on my record. I'm like, God, like, I done... My God, that marriage is lasting longer than me, and they stuff that what got me trying to figure things out. But guess what? I ain't giving up.
So
I'm keeping the faith. I'm willing to have the hard conversations, even when those hard conversations is now me looking at the woman in the mirror.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that you say that, because yesterday in Bible study, the topic was, can God trust you? And I used David. David had so much going on, but David had a moment where he had to, Psalm 51, 1-7, he had to reflect and say, it's me. Because, see, David was traumatized as well. And see, we think because we're able to function that we're not traumatized. No, that just means you're a functioning addict.
Yeah.
You can function through your trauma. That's why a lot of people think, because, they're not breaking down every day, crying boo-hoo, what their mama did didn't affect them. No, it's grown women right now still affected by their mama telling them that they're ugly, they're not good enough, ain't no man gonna love them. You just gonna be a garden tool. Now imagine trying to be grown, processing what you did not process or sort through as a child. That is even more traumatizing, because now you got to go through emotions and things that you never got to experience or sort through as a child. So now you're trying to find a space where you feel safe enough to do that and not looking at it as, I'm weak because I'm crying. No, you have to give yourself the opportunity to get to the root of your problem. Because I believe, and as a man just watching most of the women in my family, if they would have sorted through, I would have family members, no offense, going through 4 different marriages. Would not have. But nobody took the time to tell them you still traumatized. They just say, hey, God gonna send you somebody, you gonna get through this. Sometimes that's not enough just to hear you gonna get through this. You got to realize, sit down, pen and paper, and go do the work.
Yeah.
When you see your kids doing the same thing, they get married and they married someone last a year. These are things that you have to ask yourself. Why is the trauma that I experienced that I thought I was over still showing up in the lives of me and my children? And you'll know when it's showing up, because it'll start looking the same. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, wow. I got siblings traumatized through what they've seen. Mm-hmm. So they stay in relationships longer than they need to be because they feel like, well, I saw women in my family stay through hell and abuse.
Yeah.
So why not stay? And what's mind blowing, just as a male watching the different women in my family, they never gave themselves the grace. And I say that like the grace. Because a lot of times you need to give yourself the grace to heal and go through what you need to go through. Because I know a lot of women now, they're traumatized, and each relationship they get in, it becomes worse because they have not done the work and the necessary steps to get what they need. And my thing is, with the people I've dated, it has always been that trauma, simply because I can tell they're not here. I can tell they're not in a place where they can handle what it is that they have to do for as their life. And being just in general, as seeing women go through, women oftentimes feel like they have to do above and beyond. They have to be at the top of their game or the top of their grind just so they don't have to feel the things that they have experienced. But as a man, I can tell you, it would do you no justice to keep recycling your trauma and trying to marry, date, or anything with a man that's healed and ready for a relationship. It would do you no justice. Because if you're not necessarily have done the work or trying to do the work in relationship, whether it be business, ministry, whatever, it will all come out to be the same thing, a dead end.
I want to talk to what you just said, because with that trauma, when it comes to unaddressed trauma, and how we already fighting through, self-worth, self-love, and different things like that. One of the things with my situation, my granny, she left my granddaddy. They had 9 kids, and my great-grandfather, actually, but I called my great-grandfather my granddaddy. And he loved me, so I come in on the note as a firstborn, the first grandchild, and great-grand of 5th generation. And it took a lot of courage for her to leave, It took a lot of courage. You have 9 kids the same way you have one. And I knew that when I was going through my first divorce, one of my struggles was getting a divorce based upon our upbringing. And when I finally went through it, you still got to deal with the naysayers.
The backlash.
Yeah, what they gonna say about it. And I believe that some people that struggle in this area with traumas and triggers is you got to not worry about what somebody is saying about you and your business when you are learning how to get free and stay free. Okay, you're learning how to do something that you've never been taught. So that's why you need the grace. You need to give yourself grace, and you need to grace and mercy, lean into the grace that God has given you. A lot of us are not taking that even serious, because you think God don't know that I don't know how to be a wife. You think God don't know that I don't know how to be a mom. You think God don't know that we're learning how to do this thing. So that's where the help come in. And I say that because until you have a mother that can look you in your face and tell you that they resent you because of the choice they made, meaning I hate watching you raise your children because I didn't raise you. And you still got to learn how to not default into the mannerisms and the ways of the resentment. It's just the attitude behind understanding.
Yes, understanding.
The person that hurt you. But understanding I don't want to be you. I don't even want to be the me that I'm showing up as. I want to be better. These are the hard truths and the hard conversations that you got to have with yourself.
You got to have them.
In order to grow, okay? You got to have them. And understand, it's still going to be okay.
Yes, it will be.
And I say that because when people not happy, just like they say, misery loves company. Yeah. When people are not happy, they will go out their way to try to make sure that you stay in that unhappy place. And this has nothing to do with the other side of me, which is the fighter side.
Yes.
See, that's when you will stay in the relationship too long. You know how much courage it takes to leave a relationship?
It'll take a lot.
When you're used to and you're conditioned to staying and fighting for something. But I want to encourage my fighters. You cannot fight alone. You cannot be in a relationship by yourself. It takes at least 2 people. You got to want to be here, first of all.
Come on.
You got to want to be here. If you don't want to be here, you cannot hold people hostage because that's illegal.
You better talk to them.
And I got to tell you what's illegal when you come from alcohol users, drug sellers, abusers. We think we above the law. So we don't care about illegalities. We will break the law. That's what I'm talking about. My own family. I ain't gonna talk about y'all family.
Talk to the people.
I'm gonna talk about my family and my bloodline because I ain't never scared of none of them, and I'm telling the truth, and this is my truth to tell because it's gonna help somebody get set free. Understand that. So we're having this conversation because it was times that I stayed in the marriage, stayed in the relationship. And I should have walked away, but I didn't know how. You know that part on What's Love Got to Do With It? I just don't know how to leave them, Jackie.
And it's real.
Hello, it's real. But then I told myself, even when I was confiding in my ex, because see, you be thinking they're going to be your best friends, your lover to the end, till you die. That was a lie.
The whole lie.
Okay? And I said, well, I know you ain't about to try to take me through the ringer like the other one did because I'm not staying that long.
Hmm.
Now, I'm willing to work on this thing. But if you think I'm going to stay, I'm not. I'm going to let you go. And before I go, I'm going to own up to all my BS and hell I caused too now. Come on.
So,
Gotta be accountable.
that's the growth part of it.
Hello. Gotta be accountable. Because when I walk away, I'm going to walk away with my hands clean. I'm going to walk away with clean hands. Okay? And when you dealing with trauma and trigger, you mess around, be so deceitful, and you be lying and feeling like you got to be afraid of something. No, fear no man.
Okay.
You don't need to have nothing but to feel God in you. And it's like, we don't even feel God enough. That's why we keep going through the same old cycles. We ain't even waiting on him. Wait on the Lord. Come on, that's in here. I'm in the book, and I'm in the book. I'm in the book, and I'm in the book. Okay? The book is the word. This book is what the Lord commissioned me to release and give birth to help people with this issue right here. And I'm going to let y'all know about it because you need to purchase it if you ain't purchased it.
For real, because even when Miss Tiffany had told me she was doing her book, and she was like, it's gonna be for women. I'm like, what? So you ain't gonna talk to the men? She's like, no, it's for the women. But then when I looked at the cover of her book, anybody can benefit from it. Why? Because when you're not necessarily understanding where people are at, you're not gonna understand how to approach people. Me personally, being raised with different family members, and my mama, I didn't know how to necessarily understand my mama or just the things she went through. Simply because when you going through trauma, and mama trauma, and just women trauma period, you ain't trying to listen to nothing nobody's saying. That's why most of the relationships with these women went to sugar honey ice. It went downhill. Because simply, when you see the triggers and you see different things that remind you of the people in your life that you're trying to get away from, it's like, do I want to keep pursuing? And then a lot of times when you're not thinking, you're like, oh, it's fine. It's just a little something. And a little something becomes a whole lot of hell that you can't deal with. Because your trauma say, oh, it's just a little situation. It ain't nothing major. You can get through that. Then here comes something else. And before you know it, you're knee deep in trauma. And you're even more traumatized than you was before you came into the situation. So I had to wait, I want to say, till I got like 30, to be exact, to be able to really have the ugly conversations of, hey, mama, certain things were traumatizing. You may not have meant to, but hey, this is traumatizing.
Yes.
As a black man in America, this is traumatizing.
Yes.
My relationship's going to hell because I'm finding people that was dealing with trauma from my mama and the different women that played a part in my life that were of importance. No. So when I had the conversation, I was not, and this is disclaimer, it is what it is, take how you want to take it. You don't know if they're going to be cool about it, or they're going to spaz and say, what are you talking about? But it was not none of that.
From that spirit of offense.
Tell them. The conversation went a little smooth, and I was surprised. Because when I explained to my mom, I said, you know the relationships I be in? I said, these are trauma relationships. All these women looking to see what they can get from me, but give nothing to me. I say, so it reminds me of how we used to deal before I started learning how to effectively communicate to you versus communicating with you through my trauma. And she didn't understand it. My mom was like she was lost. But then when she started breaking down some of her trauma and started identifying, hey, my daughter do X, Y, Z, my other daughter do X, Y, Z. And I had to, y'all know I don't cut no corners because you was doing it. So why would they feel like it's not trauma if they saw you doing it, you was okay with being traumatized by it? Why they don't feel like they can be traumatized by it and be okay with it?
And that's good because we as parents, we be like, oh, I want my child to do better than me. Well, show us better.
Show me the way. Okay.
If I want my children to do better, I got to do better. I got to show them what better look like, what it feel like. what you're not gonna take, what you're not gonna put up with, when you can walk away, when you can speak up for yourself. Don't feel like you gotta be muzzled. Because black men have been conditioned to shut their mouth and take whatever we give them. Like they don't like they gotta put up with that stuff. When I think about the things that I did, the other people cheering,
Good God Almighty.
I be like, let me tell you one thing about being a parent. Be like, do I want somebody to do this to my child?
Come on. Talk to him. Talk to him.
I don't want somebody's daughter to do certain things to my children. So guess what? I gotta realize I'm somebody's daughter.
Yeah, on both sides.
And the men that I interact with, that's somebody's son.
Come on.
And if do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that's
right.
the golden rule we was taught ever since elementary. I don't know if they still teaching that thing, but that's golden.
Golden.
Don't do it if you don't want it done to you.
Simple.
Simple as that. And if you find yourself doing it, call yourself out on doing it and work on getting better in that area. You can start your work by ordering a copy of this here journal or requesting a link and book your breakthrough session. Really, you get a session with this here book. But don't rob yourself. Don't cheat yourself of opportunity to heal and grow and learn new ways based upon unlearning the old ways. Because all of that old stuff we've been exposed to is not healthy for us. It's not producing great relationships. It's really making people feel like, what's the point of being in a relationship? I don't know if I want love. They don't feel safe.
At all.
In relationships. And our black men should feel safe just like our women should feel safe. And when we're not safe, we shouldn't be afraid to say, I don't feel safe here. I was safe with you yesterday, but based upon what you done said to me within these last 24 hours, I'm not feeling safe, and I'm not sure. I am not sure. I do not trust what you may be capable of. And let me tell you, this is big for me to be able to communicate that. Because I'm like, let me let you know I don't feel safe. So you could be like, well, what I done? Because what you thinking you did is normal. And it done made me feel unsafe. It done triggered me.
So I have a question. So is there a time frame on healing and doing the work?
I think it's constant.
Okay. Because I know just from experience of watching, you went through years of doing the work and you're still doing the work. You didn't just hop out of what you was in and then jump to another thing like most people are doing before they actually develop the work.
Now, this is my first time. I believe that from my second divorce, I was intentional in that season, even though I had some shortcomings, of course. But I was more intentional with that time and who and what I entertained.
Okay.
So from my first divorce, I believe I was divorced about, give or take, 2 years. And what I should have did was what I did the second one. I should have given myself more time, but I'm not apologizing. We had an amazing child from that relationship.
Amazing.
I've learned a whole lot and I've grown a whole lot. But even in that relationship, I believe that my intentionality of hearing God and intentionally leaning back into leadership, in spite of what I don't have. Like that last relationship, I did not have a car for a certain season. I lost it at the front end of that relationship, and he had a car. Yes. So I was like, this is awesome. I'll take it. When I could have stayed focused, honestly. But I took what was presented, and I was willing to work with it. But behind, like he said, like if you're not willing to work and process what he said, I know what that looks like when men do it too.
Come on.
You know, when you jumping from relationship to relationship to buy you some time. Because the cat is out the bag. I see you, and we need to keep growing. But when a person don't want to grow, they'll rather sabotage a relationship.
That part.
And get ready to sabotage somebody else. And I'm just like, well, hey, it's no longer my issue because I'm going to continue to do the work, and I'm a product of what the work look like.
Exactly.
And you get to see and have seen the tears of the work,
Yes.
the joy of the work,
Oh,
the grind of the work, the frustration of the work, and the evolution of the work. Because it's like you'll grow, we evolve. And just like if I look at some of my old content like 10 years ago, I'd be like, I'm talking about I done grew. I'm like, child, I had so much more growing I was about to do. Like, so I think as we grow, we even heal. I think in this season of my healing or transparency and my exposure, I'm giving myself more grace. I am. Because I'm very hard on myself.
You
are. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a little more easier on myself because I'm hard on people, but I'm easy going to a certain extent. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm definitely giving myself some grace.
Because most definitely, I want to say, I think last year was, now I don't see Miss Tiffany in several seasons, but I ain't never seen Miss Tiffany have a real moment like last year. I was like, I was lost for words because I couldn't understand. I'm like, for real? Because she'll cry. Miss Tiffany don't mind crying, but this was like a moment of, hey, she done been hiding behind the cloth, everything else. Now snatched the mess off, and she was shedding real tears. And see, and I think people don't understand when you get beyond the smoking glass and mirrors and all that, and you got to face you, what you didn't get. When I saw it, I was like,
which moment? That moment when we was out
there? That was one of the most unfelt real moments.
Because I'm like, oh yeah, it's real now. It's really
then
real.
What was even crazy, because even after all that, and then when she had said and talked with, we did something with her mama, and she was telling her mama, and her mama was just like, she couldn't even get the words out. Her mama was like, I ain't never heard you say that before. And that's the part that we have to get to. When you say what they are not willing to hear or have been in denial of, I guarantee y'all, when I had to tell my mama face to face that I was traumatized, she was looking like, he ain't talking to me, oh baby, I'm talking to you.
And this is especially for the people that, you know, they got the saying like the strong friend, the strongest child, the strongest. I'm like, oh no. Ain't no S on my chest, and I'm tired of this. I'm tired.
She said, come here. And she had a moment. I'm like, I'm used to Miss Tiffany being like the strong friend, the strong sister, just the strong shoulder. And I had been saying for like 2-3 months, I said, the strong get weak. And Miss Tiffany was like, yeah. So I didn't think in the moment to include Miss Tiffany in the strong getting weak. Because when she started crying, I was like, she done put the name down, she done put the business, she done put everything on the back burner. This is me, the person. Can y'all see me? Can you niggas see I'm a real person with real problems? Not just, oh, she's a life coach, she's a mother, she's a daughter, auntie, she's an empowerment speaker, she's all this in God. No, the person. And I got to see the person.
And one of the things I want y'all to take away is I've always given myself permission to cry.
Yes.
I've given my children permission to cry, and I got all boys. From the time they come out the womb, I want you to know, you can cry. You're not going to be, like, not allowed to cry or feel some type of way because tears are...
They're necessary.
Necessary. First of all, it's a sign that you is alive. Still alive.
Speak.
And it's watering and fertilizing your ground.
You better speak to
So if you good ground, growth gonna happen after that. Have it not?
Yes, it has.
Have it not?
Yes, it has.
And it allows you to lay aside that weight because guess what? I'm like, what in the world? That is just weighing me down. I don't go out and do.
Come on. And I think sometimes we be so caught up in the day-to-day emotion and things we have going on that we don't really sit and say, what's really the root of stopping me getting to what I need? Because when women give they all in situations, whether relationship, business, partnerships, whatever, they give everything. So when they find themselves at a crossroads and it seems like, well, dang, I'm giving everything and it's not enough. That's when forget I love you, forget all this other stuff that I have going on. What is it that's hindering me from getting to the next phase? Because my mother said something the other day, and I was just looking at her. Anybody know me? I got that deaf look. I just was looking, and she's like, one day I'm gonna get married, and the right person gonna be able to be everything. And I'm gonna be able to give them what they need. And I was like, you gonna be able to do what? She said, I'm gonna be able to give the right person what they need from me. I haven't been able to get that to nobody. I said, ain't that something? So y'all, I'm being extra. I'm like, ain't that something? She said, yeah, I traumatized y'all.
And now you want to give somebody else some more trauma?
I say, wait a minute. So when she said that, this was the first time I ever heard my mama acknowledge that she was traumatized, or she had traumatized the people that she declared she had traumatized. So when she said, I say, now you can do something with that. I say, now I can help you with something, since you done came to the light that you have been traumatized, and you are a product of traumatizing people. So I'm like, yeah, now you can do something. See, that's the thing. When you finally, the light clicks and you're like, okay, I've been traumatized, and I have traumatized those that I say I love. Now, how do I repair and fix what needs to be fixed? Because just acknowledging it don't mean absolutely positively nothing. Fixing it, not repeating the cycle, being a repeat offender, a habitual line crosser, that is what's going to let the people know that you're really doing the work. And you don't have to say it, they'll watch.
They'll see it.
Your habits to say, you know what, I'm doing the work. Because we expect that when a person is doing the work, it's going to be 100%. No, it ain't going to be 100%. Because some days I may trip back to, nigga, what you say? And you got to say, she's still doing the work. Yeah, so give people the grace when they're doing the work. Because watching Miss Tiffany, a lot of people didn't give her the grace while she was doing the work. They was expecting, oh, you the woman of God, you just supposed to be here. And not realizing that don't mean nothing, because you could be a woman of God, man of God, and be right here at the lowest of the lowest. That means you're human and you still got work to do. So when she said, he can testify, yeah, I just had a life coaching session, and it was a breakdown of a breakdown. I had reached out to her and said, I need a session. I said, because I got some things that I'm traumatized with and sorting through, and I need to go ahead and process it. So let me tell you something. Having a one-on-one with Tiffany is like all up in your face. Hey, I need you as a black man to say what it is that's going on. You talking about this, that? No, what is it? I'm like, Miss Tiffany, what is it? So having her be direct and straightforward to the point, like, hey, what is it? Because you can tell me 20 things, but if the 20 things don't hit the root, we're going to be here forever. What's the root? And the root was I was not healed from the relationship that I had invested all my time. I was still in love. Even though they moved on, got married, I still catch a book on them. That's a whole nother situation. Your trauma. So when she talked to me, she said, how you going to get through this? I said, I really don't know how I'm going to get through the trauma that this has caused. But she set me up so that I could talk to the individual and get the closure. When I tell you I'm not in a place of anger, bitterness, because I had to sort through it. I had to acknowledge that, hey, yes, she may have moved on and got married, but I'm still in love with somebody that got married. And Miss Tiffany say, that's crazy work, but hey, that's the reality. The reality does not look pretty and it's not always good, but it's going to be good in the end when you get to the point where you say, you know what, now I can move on. Now I can find out what's next. Because that ain't the end. This is just a milestone to get to the next point.
And that was a good point you made, because that makes me think about one of the sayings that I like, that I've adopted is, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
That part.
So that's where I tie all of my trauma,
yes,
all my dysfunction, all of my, Lord, you sure I was born with the right family?
Oh, man.
Tie all that together, because that's what allows him to sit with a coach like me. That's what allows me to be able to show up how I do in the world, because me being direct, I came from a household that was very direct when it came to just certain things, and that household allowed me to be outspoken. You know, that household never tried to silence me. So once I began to, and I've always been able to be pretty much an honest person.
Yes.
So putting all those together, adding in my faith component and things like that, that is where you get conversations like this, so we can really just create that safe space, an undoctrinated,
Ooh, come on, safe
religious
space.
place, but a safe space, regardless of your background, your pedigree, your titles, and stuff like that. Because it has been people of different titles and calibers that have confided or opened up to me because they feel safe. And you got to know that it's safety to be found no matter what your title is, no matter how you've been elevated or what your background even is.
Come on.
You need to have a space where you can just express how you're feeling. And you have a right to express your feelings. Are our feelings always 100% the actual truth of what's going on? No.
Come on.
I'm going to tell you what done been told to me now. But you have a right to your feelings, and we're going to respect your feelings. When somebody cannot respect your feelings, then you got a right to dismiss them and remove yourself from the equation. Because if you ain't respecting me, I don't want to be there. And I have that right. And I don't have to leave by making a scene. Because, see, that trauma and them triggers will make you make a scene. When you could have quietly left, it don't make you no less than.
Come on.
2 fingers in the air. I'm out. Okay? Without me having to add another charge onto my criminal record. You hear me?
All that.
And I'm telling y'all the things that I know. Because when people don't appreciate your presence, then they need to feel your absence. Keep all of that to yourself. Pick up your dignity and walk on out. And elevate and grow and heal, even if you got to do it in the dark. How you think a plant grows? They get buried. The seed get buried. It's in a dark place. But when it sprout up, baby, it's action over here. Hello, we got action. So, feel free, click the link, make your purchase. You also get a coaching session with yours truly. I am Tiffany, empowering, impacting, and uniting y'all to do what it is God is calling you to do. This is also one of my certified coaches with the I Am Tiffany platform. Hello.
Talks with the King Life Coaching.
Okay, certified on the ones and twos. So if y'all definitely want to book Talks with the King, feel free to do that. Because we working, we growing,
yes,
we healing, we building, we healing and we building.
Yes.
All right, y'all be blessed.
Be blessed.
Be blessed. And if y'all know anybody that's interested in the career in barbering, click the link in my bio. Click the link or comment for the link. Catch you later. All right, YouTube family.
Hey.